Hello out there! Welcome and thank you for watching. My name is Maya Joy and I have been a full-time professional psychic for almost 10 years now. And the first 5 years of my career were entirely devoted to working with people on one-on-one relationships. I wanted to share with you something that I've learned from being able to support and assist so many people in their relationships. There's two really big foundational stones that are necessary for building healthy, strong relationships. And I typically find in a client who is really struggling in one or more relationships that there's typically a lack of balance between these two foundation stones. First foundation stone is the health of the individual. Now you sometimes see this where people kind of get on this like, okay, all I gotta do is sort of like start going to the gym and like get a new haircut and like update my diet and then I'm going to attract the love of my dreams. When I say health of self, I mean a little bit more than that. Actually, exercising, sleeping well, eating well, I mean those actions toward ourself and interacting and caring for ourselves, for example, in the way that we might care for a child that we really love or another person we really love. That active self-care is very important. If we're acting against what we believe is best for us, like for example, if we believe that, what's best for us might be sitting down at lunch and having a Buddha bowl or something like that, but what we're doing is we're actually eating a Domino's pizza and like a full plate of brownies, well, then that's lack of health of self. So a big part of health of self is acting in accordance to the ways that we truly believe are healthy for us. So the more that you can sort of think, okay, if I was living my healthiest life, what would I look like? The more you live that life actively through actions, the more sort of health you will have, and the more that you will be confident and secure within yourself. In addition to that sort of type of health, I also mean a level of mental health and wellness. And part of what I mean by that is realism about sort of who we are. I think people that are really healthy with themselves, they're honest with themselves, and they're aware that they have many good qualities. And I think being healthy with yourself includes knowing what those qualities are. Like, what are those qualities that make you special and unique? And what are some of the most positive aspects of you? But being healthy with oneself isn't all about sort of like treating yourself and ignoring your flaws. It also means having a realistic understanding of perhaps qualities that you wish that you had, but maybe you don't. Having a realistic understanding and ability to be able to communicate first to yourself and then hopefully another person as well. What are your limitations? What are those aspects of your personality that are a little rough around the edges? Where are you really struggling? Where do you need support? Health of self isn't about being perfect, and I don't even know what that would even mean, but it's not about that. But it is about honesty and accountability with ourselves. It's about being honest about where maybe we set goals and we didn't achieve them, or maybe we are engaging in acts of self-sabotage, or maybe we're holding on to objects or behaviors or ways of thinking, ways of eating, ways of being that are not healthy for us. And so cultivating an overall health of self, which I think is reflected in like a feeling of self-respect and a general overall feeling of pride within one's self. This is sort of the first foundation stone. I'm here to tell you, after seeing the inside perspective on many people's lives, everyone does struggle, and no one, no matter what it looks like from the outside, has a perfect life. But health of self is about feeling a sense of respect and pride in the life that you have. Feeling that you're doing meaning in the world, feeling that you know who you are and you're okay with who you are, and that overall you feel good about the way that you're spending your time. Now, the second foundation stone is our ability to treat others well. Sort of the impact that we have on other people and how we make them feel, and whether or not other people feel overall quite good in our presence. A big part of this has to do with, are we okay with ourselves? But to the extent that the treatment of other people is involved in successful relationships, it typically looks like understanding how to focus on another person, understanding how to listen to that person, asking other people thoughtful questions, knowing when to be compassionate, knowing how to support another person if someone feels that you're interested in them, if they feel heard and understood, if they feel valued and appreciated. I mean, I think we often underestimate how important it is just to tell other people, thank you, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you're in my life, and here's what I really like about you. We need to know how to support other people, whether that's physical support or it's emotional support or psychological support. Skills in supporting other people, in listening, in expressing gratitude and appreciation. Skills in sort of knowing how to help another person while being authentic and true, to help that other person to thrive in their life, and a general ability to take the focus off of oneself and put that focus on another person whilst engaged in conversation is a critical skill and ability for successful relating. Sometimes I'll see an individual who's entirely focused just on this. They think, if I just treat others well and I make them feel special and I do a lot for them and I say nice things, then they'll want to engage in some sort of close relationship with me. But if that person isn't healthy within themselves, if they're not feeling okay and self-respecting and overall proud of the life that they live, they're not aware of and creating this well-being within themselves, often the relationships don't work. Likewise, if someone sort of perfects their being and they actually are very attractive and they are very, very healthy and they've done a lot of studying, maybe worked with a psychologist, as an individual, they're really there, but they cannot sustain a conversation with another person whereby they're not just focused on themselves or what the other person thinks about them, or they don't know how to express gratitude, or they don't know how to provide constructive criticism, or how to express boundaries in the necessary context, then that person, even though as a self they have a lot of well-being, they probably won't have a lot of successful relationships. So I find that these two foundation stones exist sort of in a balance. And usually if we're facing a lot of relational issues, one of these items has gotten out of balance. But often, if we just focus on that one item in the treatment of others very well, I sort of lost a little bit of my investment in the health of myself. Usually if we intentionally bring balance back, things begin to get quite a bit better. Where do you feel that you fall? Are you really good at treating others well and listening and helping them feel understood and built up and sort of encouraging other people towards their goals and helping them when needed? And do you generally have a really good effect with other people, but maybe your own inner dialogue and actions towards yourself are not going so well? Is it the opposite for you? Are you killing it in terms of how you speak to yourself and the healthy habits that you have, but maybe struggling with other people? Or are you killing it in both regards and maybe your relationships are thriving? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And if anybody is needing a reading to help come to understand the soul connection between you and another person romantically or in your family or a friend, or you're sort of looking for that divine perspective that comes from the guides and angels, details about all my readings will be included in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Many blessings out there to all of you. May love and abundance and healthy relationships, may they abound for you. Thank you. Many blessings and namaste.